But with this talk of like landing gear and control surfaces and angle of attack, what do you think as a pilot happened with the 787 over the past week?
Um, everybody's speculating. As I looked at the one video, it's been a really busy few days, so I haven't had a lot of time to look into it. My wife sent me one of the videos that someone had captured on their phone. Given the angle of attack, it appeared that they had an engine out situation. Don't know why both engines would both be out, but it appeared that both engines were out from the angle of attack, and the rate of descent would make sense for an engine out. So my guess is there was something to do with engine outs, but I'm not an analyst, but given the angle of attack and the way that it was descending, it looks like they had both engines were out.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of speculations. I was just curious what your thoughts were. I've only also seen the one video and it was like right after it happened. So if there were any updates over the weekend, I have no idea.
Oh, I will say one of the interesting things about this design, if you in an engine out, you're gonna come down. And we showed, if you go back just a little bit, there's that Gabriele von Karman curve. And as you look at the Gabriele von Karman curve, the y-axis, the full power L over D at gross weight is really, that's a fancy way to say, what's my glide ratio? And so what it shows is that at a slower airspeed, you can have a theoretically much higher glide ratio. Sailplanes typically travel much slower. They have long, skinny wings so that they can have a good glide ratio, a good L over D. And you can see some, high performance sailplanes that have a 60-to-1 glide ratio. So every 1 foot and drop, they fly 60 feet forward. Well, as you go faster, the glide ratio actually decreases. And so what we're showing in this chart is that most, general aviation airplane, and we're not putting the airliners on here, but the general aviation airplanes typically have, 10, 11 to 1 or less at some particular speed. So if you're a mile up, if you're 5,000 feet above the ground and you have an engine out, you're going to be able to travel instead of, you're going to drop 1 mile, 5,000 feet, but you're going to be able to get, call it 10, 11 miles forward. You have to find some place to land in that distance. Well, with ours, you're really looking at that 250 knot sweet spot. It follows the curve back, and we get about a 23-to-1. So
Mm.
if you're 1 mile up, now you have 23 miles to figure out where am I going to land. If you're 10,000 feet above the ground, you now have 46 miles to figure out where you're going to land. That airliner, it looks like it only reached about 500 feet above the ground. And because it was only 500 feet above the ground, it wasn't going to go very far. At about at that airspeed, it probably had an 8 or 9-to-1 glide ratio.